Hey everybody, welcome back to another PMP's Den of Antiquities video. Today I'm joined again by Lydia.
Hi.
What was it? Bad Batch episode
1 through 4?
1 through 4 that you
I think
did?
so.
We're back now, but we're back for the Perspective podcast. So we're gonna get into some of these answers and questions. So what got you into Star Wars? We'll just start right off the bat.
Jar Jar.
Things got you into Star Wars?
So I've watched probably Phantom Menace the most, and which I think a lot of people from the 90s probably did, but my sister and I, exactly, my sister and I really just ate it up, loved the underwater scene, and Jar Jar Binks was, I know people, it's controversial, but I mean, he was a kid's character. He was a character for the kids, and I think they did a very successful job in hooking me into that.
Well, as a kid, so as an adult, I still like Jar Jar a lot, but I can see, some of the qualms that people had that were older. But, it was, like you said, it was specifically designed for, kids.
Yeah, it was.
So it's I loved it because, just like you, I loved it as a kid. I thought it was funny, and now that I'm older, he's definitely a Sith Lord. That's the thing. Jar Jar the Sith Lord.
I refuse to believe that. He is
Darth
Golden
Jar Jar.
Boy. He is.
That's how he gets you.
Nah, it's just. I think that was just something that was kind of relatable as a kid, where someone goofy and he just kind of wants to help and.
Ends up messing everything up.
Yeah, well, as a kid, I think I was, 6 years old, maybe.
Yeah, it came out in 96, I want to say.
Well, then it was before I was 6. But, between 0 and 6, you screw up all the time.
Yeah.
And it was kind of nice to...
I'm just saying the movie came out in 96. So.
Right, well, that's probably when I would have seen it a bunch. What was the initial question? What got me into it?
Yeah. Star Wars.
And just, I really like fantasy and sci-fi. I kind of grew up with it. My dad was a huge fan of Star Wars. They always watched the original trilogy just at the house, which I learned now that I'm way more of a Star Wars fan. I don't know, as a kid, I didn't know what was going on. I knew Luke and his father, Darth Vader, and that was about it. But Phantom Menace, I felt was more of mine and my sister's kind of movie, because I don't think my dad cared about it too much.
I mean, you got Darth Maul, you got pod racing, it's pretty safe. You got Jar Jar.
Yeah, it's got Jar Jar. And,
Liam Neeson.
Yeah, Liam Neeson, he's father, so.
Dad?
Dad is actually...
Wait. Dad?
Yeah.
You guys can't tell, I got a Qui-Gon Jinn Hot's way over here.
Oh, you're supposed to be sitting by us.
Yeah, here, I'll bring him down. You're talking about the Phantom Menace, might as well bring him in to the shot. There you go, and you can place him wherever you want to.
Here we go. He'll protect me.
Yeah. Unless Darth Maul comes, then it's a different story.
No, oops.
Spoilers. And then what's your favorite thing about Star Wars?
I definitely like the influence of samurai culture into it. It's very apparent, and there's a lot of there's faith brought into it. I was raised, Catholic or whatever that means, but it was cool to see this kind of faith and lifestyle in a more relatable kind of way. This force. And there's good and evil and the balance and everything. I felt like that was a much more safe and respectable thing to kind of teach your kids anyway. And that was a huge influence on my childhood, just, wanting to, the more balance you had with the Force, the more power you could kind of have, and, the more at peace you would be, and I really liked that about it. Also, laser swords and aliens and different worlds, it's so diverse. And Phantom Menace,
massive.
Yeah, and Phantom Menace showed so much diversity right off the bat.
I think Phantom Menace, you probably you go to, it's a ridiculous amount of worlds you go to.
Yeah.
Phantom Menace, you're here, then you're there, then you're here, then you're there, it's going back and forth, and it's crazy. So.
And also just the whole idea of the Jedi, and then, these really cool group of lads. I don't know. I just thought it was really cool.
Squad.
Yeah.
Alright, so let's go with, what's your favorite ranking of movies?
I had to write it down, and I apologize to anyone who's gonna give me some
Man,
problem over this. I don't know the names of all of them. I'm sure if I thought really hard and long, I'd figure it all
Well, I guess
out.
that's why you got me.
I've got numbers in a list. So, number 1, Phantom Menace.
Phantom Menace.
For sure. Solo is the second. I love that movie a lot.
What do you like? What's your favorite thing about Solo?
It made me like Han Solo. I did not like Han Solo until that movie. Like I didn't. I know. Like I just don't like that guy. And then I saw, he has an origin story, and I'm like, ooh, character development. And then also I realized like the original trilogy is pretty dated. So.
I mean, Han Solo, as much as because I love Han Solo, but like he is pretty toxic. And in the original masculinity. Shout out to Big Mouth.
Yeah, but his character, once they talked more about his character, it made way more sense and
he gave more depth. Like he's more jaded and like been stabbed in the back a whole bunch and stuff.
Yeah, no, he was definitely humanized in that movie, and also it was just a good movie. It's a heist movie.
Yeah, heist movies.
Love heist movies.
Yeah.
So Phantom Menace, Solo, the original New Hope, I think is what it's called, episode 4, because it's a classic, and
Episode 4 is great.
Yeah, it's like iconic in nature, obviously. And then episode 3, because it's like big finale, so many emotions, so many tears. Obi-Wan got his hair together.
Yeah, he got rid of
looking
them all.
fine.
From episode 2.
Episode 6, because it's epic, also a classic.
Return of the Jedi.
Which, thank you. Then episode
Got the Ewoks.
7, yeah, the Ewoks. Well, I like how it starts. I like the plot of it was very, I felt like it was very fulfilling.
Mm-hmm.
And then 7, which is the first of the new trilogy, Force Awakens. I thought it was like super exciting to like start it all over again, or not all over, but like start it up again. Then Rogue One, which actually Rogue One was my least favorite.
I used to hate on Rogue One.
I watched it so many times. I'm just like, you have to be a super fan to find this enjoyable. I did not.
It doesn't explain a whole bunch.
Yeah,
for sure.
yeah. But then I saw a lot of other Star Wars stuff, such as I think Rebels is really what brought me to love Rogue One. No, I really like it. Fantastic movie. I still think it lacks a lot of kind of background, but it's also kind of a filler. I don't know.
Well, just because it shows you all these people that you have like no idea who
Yeah,
they
exactly.
are, and then spoilers, they all die at the end of the film. So it's like, oh, okay.
No, it's like a big one was like Saw Gerrera. I was like, who is that guy? So obviously you have to like watch the Clone Wars show, you have to watch Rebels show to like understand who is that guy. Because when I first saw Rogue One, I didn't see either of those shows, and I was like, they just bring in this random dude.
It's like, lies, deceptions.
Look at it. And then Rogue One, and then episode 5, which is the second of the classic. Empire Strikes Back.
Very classic.
Yeah, it's got like, kind of like
it's got a little bit of everything in it.
Yeah, it's got a training montage and the Tauntauns.
Yeah.
I really like the Tauntauns.
It's my Tauntaun impression. Oh man, he's over there. I'm not gonna get him, but I got a little Tauntaun that you like squeeze like this when you.
Yeah, his little dance.
Yeah.
And then the final of the Skywalker, the 9, whatever that is.
Rise of Skywalker.
Rise of Skywalker. I have my issues with it, but it's pretty cool.
Yeah.
Then the one right before that,
Last Jedi.
Last Jedi. I know it had its issues, but there were some fantastic, epic shots. Like the cinematography in that was.
Oh, I mean, I don't think anybody can do it. Like the sequels, like as far as like cinematography goes, or like it's some of like the best Star Wars.
Yeah, like brought me to tears.
But the story, on the other hand, like I try to keep this positive. Like I'm not a super huge sequel guy, but the story was lacking. But I agree with you. Like some of the shots were just like breathtaking.
Yeah, and last and least, in my opinion, obviously, is episode 2.
Attack of the Clones.
It's so uncomfortable.
Yeah.
I really do not like watching the Padme and Anakin thing.
Yeah.
it makes sense. There's nothing wrong with it. I just feel uncomfortable.
Angsty Jedi teen.
He's just like,
yeah,
like Edward Cullen vibes.
But coming from a dude who was once a teenager and stuff like that, now while I didn't do a lot of the stuff that he did, I saw a lot of guys do creepy shit. Like he's like every time I look at you, I'm in agony. You know, like they don't know. They're just dramatic and weird.
Super stupid.
Yeah. I mean, hey man, it is what it is.
But well, it's different because he's such a powerful person and such a powerful character, and you know that pretty right away, which is something like
chosen one.
Yeah, and you see like they introduce like, oh, here's this like kid that was like pod racing like 5 seconds ago, and now he's like an adult-ish person.
It's pod racing.
Yeah, no, you're fine.
I'll tip it in there.
Well, and then Padme just gives me like I'm not interested vibes, which I think that's a directing issue.
Yeah. Well, we know George Lucas isn't the best at giving direction.
I mean, no complaints.
It's said by a lot of people that he was just like faster, more intense.
And
they just keep saying that.
Another thing, man, Obi-Wan's hair, it just really was distracting.
The mullet was not groovy.
It just like certain aspects of the movie. The plot wasn't. There was nothing wrong with the plot. It's just my least favorite.
Well, I say like once they get to Geonosis, like from there on, the movie gets really good. Because that's all the action and suspense.
Yeah, exactly.
The first part of the movie, well, like it was good. It was just like the dialogue was kind of crunchy.
Well, I think I would love a movie somewhere in there where they kind of elaborate on some of Palpatine's stuff.
Oh, I was thinking Clone Wars, but no.
Okay, that'd be cool too. Whatever. But like.
That was a Clone Wars TV show.
Episode 2, I think, was lacking in Palpatine detail.
Yeah.
Which I think might have been necessary to keep him a secret, but like now, I'd be down for like a flashback movie.
They just need to make the Plagueis book.
Yeah.
Make that into a TV show or a movie.
Yeah.
I mean, preferably a TV show because I think it'd be cooler. But like,
you'd get more detail out of it, and I think that would be really interesting.
But you find out a lot about like young Palpatine,
oh
like when he was rising up and becoming like a senator and all that stuff.
For those who haven't read it, you can either read it or get the audiobook. It's really good.
It's better. It's got all the sounds and lightsabers.
Yeah, no, the audiobook
really
is
cool.
fire. It's very well recorded. Basically a movie. So yeah, that's all of them, right?
Yeah, I think for you went through all of them and like Rogue One and Solo. So yeah, that's it.
I had to include them because
tidbits that you wanted to add about any of them, or is that you ready to move on?
I'm ready to move on because we'll get into other details.
For sure.
I don't want to step on your toes.
No, well let's go. Let's switch sides from movies to TV shows. What's your
my TV show ranking?
Yeah.
Okay, so I'm gonna get so much hate.
No, dude. It's a positive environment.
So Bad Batch, unfortunately, has to go last just because it's not finished. I love it, and I'm very excited about it. I'm the most excited about it, but it is not finished. Therefore, I do not feel ready to judge it.
Well, you can just exclude that from the rankings.
Yeah, there you go.
What's going on?
Mandalorian, Clone Wars, Rebels. I love Rebels. I guess I went backwards. Okay, love Rebels. That's number 1. Clone Wars because it's pretty much tied into Rebels, and then Mandalorian's last. I liked Mandalorian. I just have the least amount of like connection to it because no Jedi.
Well,
not no Jedi, but like
literally the last episode of season 2.
Well,
no, I guess
and Ahsoka. She's like not Jedi, but not a lot of laser sword action. I love that part of. That's definitely like my big. That's the most fantastical part of Star Wars, and that's what I'm most drawn to. I think Mandalorian's a great show.
I just like it because it gives like old school vibes. Because like I love like the Empire and like that era of like the Civil War and stuff like that. But it's also bringing new stuff to the table.
Yeah,
so it's nice.
I liked that it's like the newest part of the canon timeline, right? Like that's the latest and greatest.
Yeah, I mean that's like the newest thing for sure. I mean Bad Batch, but Bad Batch like.
I mean like timeline, like chronologically. Where does it sit? It sits after.
It's like 5 years after Return of the Jedi, so the sequels are ahead of it.
Oh, okay.
But
I like all the information, and then the Clone Wars has like a ton of information. It's not my favorite because it is a little kiddie, and I didn't watch it until last year. Yeah. And then Rebels is my favorite despite the animation having its own issues.
Oh, the animation's the worst part.
Well,
I hate it
not
so
even
much.
the animation, just the actual style of the characters and everything.
Yeah. It was.
Hot dog bodies. It bothers me a lot.
Did you say like their heads move a lot too?
Oh yeah, and
they
they're like wah 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 wah. I'm like, chill.
Hold on, real quick. What was that?
Woo, you know, let's go do the thing with the stuff.
I will say though, I was not a fan of Rebels. Like I watched it all the way through,
Mm-hmm.
and then like we watched it, and it was definitely way better the second time because you pick up on so many more things. Like,
Yeah.
I think I definitely like it better. The second
Also,
time.
Chopper is by far my favorite droid.
He don't miss, man.
Chopper don't miss. And he's a savage. But I do like the characters a lot. And it just like, it made me like deep thought, kind of like, it was just more serious. Made me cry a lot more. I didn't cry with Clone Wars. But
I may or may not have, but we'll leave that for another time.
Clone Wars was cool, but like I wouldn't have liked Rebels without Clone Wars. It was the foundation. It walked so Rebels could run in my head, because I don't think a lot of people agree with that.
Yeah.
But also that being said, like Rebels is making me love Bad Batch a bunch, because you need all of that information.
Right. Because I think it takes place, like, Rebels takes place after
Yeah.
Bad Batch, but, like, not too... I don't know where on the timeline each... Like, obviously Bad Batch takes place right after, like, Revenge of the Sith, you know?
Mhm.
Or, like, during Revenge of the Sith.
Oh yeah, it's...
And I don't know how many years Rebels take, because, like, it would have to be because they're stormtroopers at that point. And, like,
Well, also...
Darth Vader's, like...
Spoilers, I guess. Kanan...
Yeah.
Kanan's like a child.
Yeah, so it
And
would
he's
have
like-
to be what, like, because he's like an adult, so he's probably like in his like late.
30s, right? Late 30s?
Nah, I would say he's like in his early 30s.
Early 30s. He's
late
30.
late 20s, early 30s.
He's like an
he's like
adult.
what and Bad Batch, she's probably what, like 15,
Yeah.
something like that, somewhere up in that timeline of like.
His voice changed. We know that much.
Did it though? Jedi puberty hits
Well,
differently, man.
Yeah. His voice
Master!
changed.
It's the Bad Batch. That's not how he sounds, but
I mean, it's closer to that than it would be a 12-year-old child.
Nah, he's probably a little older than that. He's probably like, I would say he's probably like in 15, 16, something like that.
Yeah.
And,
Yeah.
and I don't know how many, like 5, 10 years. No, so I mean, he'd be in his 20s, I guess. He'd be in his 20s.
There's no way he's in his 20s, though.
Because, like, okay, so the Empire only spans for like 20, 25 years.
Yeah.
And all this takes place before the Empire. So, I mean, he would still be real. I mean, because Rebels takes place before A New Hope.
Yeah.
So, and like, I don't know how many years those span between like Revenge of the Sith and A New Hope.
Mm-hmm.
I have no idea. So
I'm sure we'll figure it out
Yeah.
eventually.
maybe somebody in the comments will help us out. It was this and that and
Yeah,
this.
if you could like make a diagram or a
Explain it to me like I'm 5.
yeah, that's all I really have to say about the shows, unless you have more questions about it.
No, I just want to know your favorite shows. Because
Yeah.
I don't think I've ever heard like because we've talked about movies, of course, but I don't think we've ever talked about like TV shows and like what you think about.
Yeah, I really liked Rebels. I also think it's funnier than Clone Wars.
Yeah.
I'm like waiting for the spies to like come at me, but
No, I mean you're allowed to like whatever you
I
like. You know?
really liked Rebels. I got really sucked in. Clone Wars, I had to battle through
The first 3
the
seasons.
first like 5 seasons.
Oh really?
I mean, there's definitely good episodes here and there, but I mean, they're all good episodes. There's some like freaking dope ones here and there. I just got.
For sure.
I wasn't like really invested until like the last 2 seasons, and then I was like, okay, it's over now.
Okay. Well, I guess let's go on to if you were in the Star Wars universe, who would you be? Like, we can do it 2 ways. You can pick a character, like if you like a like say you wanted to be Qui-Gon Jinn, or we can do it like you pick like a class, like I want to be a bounty hunter and I want to be like a Twi'lek or something, something crazy. Whichever. Let's do both. Which one? Like if you had to pick somebody to be, who would you be?
If I had to pick somebody, probably... Shoot, I don't know. I feel like I like Hera. She's a highlight.
She's pretty awesome, man.
She's very awesome. I think, I guess, I find her relatable. Like, I feel like we kind of like, we totally be like twinsy besties. As far as class go, like, I would want to be a Jedi, because that's like what interests me the most.
Right.
And I like the flipping around, like Ahsoka's flipping around makes me just like, oh, that's so cool.
Yeah, that's really sweet.
But I think Hera, she's very focused and very much an overachiever from what I can understand. But she got daddy issues. I get that.
Nice.
I get that.
Alright, well then we'll go after that. Who's your favorite character?
Obi-Wan.
Knew that. Called it.
Yeah, no, like, you knew that. Obi-Wan, I just think, like, you know, he was probably my favorite from The Phantom Menace. And just, I like, he has actually very subtle character development, in my opinion, just from, like, beginning to end.
Oh, for sure. Yeah.
And the Clone Wars, I think, did the most favors for him. Seeing him with Satine and...
I really like that they added that kind of role, because he's a very, like, he is what it means to be, like, a Jedi.
Yeah,
a Jedi.
yeah.
And, it was interesting to see that they kind of threw a wrench at that, you know, a little bit.
Yeah,
where he was just like, you know, I would have left the order for you if you would have, like, said something.
Yeah, I would like to say, like, oh yeah, I'm Obi-Wan. Not at all. I would definitely just have left the order to go be with Satine. But he's very dutiful, and I say that in not a negative sense, but just, you know, he stuck with Anakin because of Qui-Gon, for sure, and he just, like, kind of battled through it, and it was not always the easiest thing, and they're very different. I think that Obi-Wan maybe, like, he just never had the opportunity to have, like, the passion that I think he's capable of, just because he's like, traditional situation of the Jedi, right? Like, he got taken away from his planet as a child. I think he has a brother, right?
Obi-Wan?
Yeah. He technically has a brother, and he's from some other planet that we never visit in the shows or anything.
Does he?
I looked it up.
He does? Oh, wow.
He has a brother. I don't think he cared. It's never mentioned. We will
Well, it's
probably
probably
hear
because
about more
they're
of
taken
it.
from a young age, so he might have had one to, like, you know.
Yeah, I'm sure he remembers. He has a brother. They just aren't
Obi-2
buddies.
Kenobi.
It's not his name. I think it's like Mark or something. It's
Daniel.
yeah.
Jake.
Yeah, it's something like that. But
Jake from the movie.
it's just he's very exactly what you said, like the epitome of Jedi culture and manners. Jedi. Yeah, but I see like a struggle within himself of, you know, I don't want to say he's fake, but he just battles through it and just like shuts all of that humanism
Emotion,
down.
Yeah.
And we don't really see his emotions until episode 3, and he's like,
"You were my brother, Anakin.
Yeah,
I loved you."
And he's just like, all of this that I sacrificed just to push through and just like really push this whole thing and get you here and follow the order and follow the book, and you gonna try to kill me? And I think he kind of broke out a little bit there, and I think that's super important.
Yeah.
And I don't know. And it's like...
Well, that was like the biggest thing. Like in one of the books that I was reading, he like reflects on like that time of like him and Anakin fighting like after the fact that everything's done, and he was like his biggest regret was like he kind of gave in to like being angry and like hate for a minute, and he should have been like, Anakin, I forgive you. Like we can fix this. Like come back. You know. Like he's like, I forgive you and I'm sorry. You know. And he didn't do that. He was just like, all right, I'm gonna mess you up because you're a Sith now. You know. You're sworn to. Like you destroyed everything you've sworn to protect, you know?
Yeah, and another thing is he hid his emotions from Anakin, and that caused an issue between them, such as, like, Obi-Wan totally could have related to Anakin, but they didn't communicate.
Yeah. And
I think Obi-Wan shows the flaws in the Jedi Order very well, because it's just like, if y'all related, like, bro to bro about this, like, having lovers and stuff.
Well, I think that's why it was so important for Qui-Gon to be Anakin's master, because Qui-Gon would have related to Anakin.
Mm-hmm.
Qui-Gon would have been like, Anakin would have been like, hey, I'm having nightmares about my mother dying. And Qui-Gon would have been like, okay, let's go save her.
Yeah.
Whereas Obi-Wan was like, oh, don't think about that. That's just like, it's neither here nor there. You're like, don't concentrate on that, like that's in the past, you know, like you're a
Mhm.
Jedi now, you don't have to have any attachments. Whereas Qui-Gon would have been like, let's go.
Let's go deal with
You
it,
know.
right? Because he would have monitored the situation and helped Anakin handle his emotions versus just suppressing them.
And I think that just comes with like age and wisdom, because like Qui-Gon was quite a bit older than Obi-Wan,
Yeah.
right? And Obi-Wan was still like learning, and he was still young. Like even in Revenge of the Sith compared to Anakin, like their ages, like they're not super far apart. I think like Obi-Wan's in like his like late teens, early 20s, and then Anakin's like 12 in Phantom Menace.
Mm-hmm.
Like they're not super duper far apart, you know. So
he's 12. I thought he was 8.
okay, it would be 8 to 12. He's like,
okay.
he's somewhere in there, and like Obi-Wan's like still like a pat. I mean, he's probably not much older than Kanan was in the Bad Batch. You know, he's still super young. So
Yeah.
I think it just came from inexperience. You know?
Yeah, I'm just mostly just curious about Obi-Wan for him being like my favorite character. There's like aspects where, like I said, his subtle character development, as in there's not really much character development, really, like there's not a lot of evidence of it, but you know, the upcoming show will probably show a lot more. Yeah.
It's gonna be great.
But that's I guess everything I have to say about that. I thought I would say more, but
I mean, I think you said quite a bit about Obi-Wan. I mean, that's.
okay.
I think that was the most in-depth thing you've gone so far into.
Well, yeah, because
He's bae.
he's bae, and he's bae, and like maybe some like the mysteriousness, the mystery of Obi-Wan is very interesting because he is like a main character with the least amount of character development, or at least revealed character development, right? And I'm just
I think
like,
we're gonna get a lot of it at Obi-Wan.
good.
Well, because the show is him. You know, like
Mhm.
it's like, I mean, yes, there's other people, but like it's called Obi-Wan. You know,
Yeah.
it's all about him. But since we're on the topic of Jedi, I want to know, what is your favorite lightsaber? From like, you can pick like anybody, Sith, Jedi, and then since you said you wanted to be a Jedi, what would your lightsaber be? And like, whether it be like a single, double, you know, like a pike or something like that. Like,
Right.
First, we'll do what's your favorite lightsaber. If you had to pick one person's lightsaber.
Ahsoka's.
Ahsoka's,
I think
they're cool.
so at first I didn't like that there were different lengths, which I'm still kind of like about.
I mean, it makes sense though,
It
because
does.
in history people fought with two. You know,
Mhm.
it's kind of more of like one's for blocking and one's for, you know, attacking.
I like the color differentiation, like one's green and one's yellow, kind of.
So you definitely like her like originals, not the ones that she had in season 7, which were blue.
Correct. Yeah. I don't like them. I mean, I don't dislike them. I guess I prefer her green and yellow ones.
For sure.
I
I like her white ones. I think the white ones are pretty cool.
Yeah, you can't complain about the white ones. I think it's very fitting for her character too. As far as like my lightsaber goes, I mean, I want purple, but I don't think I'm allowed to have that because
It's your fantasy.
I want 2 purple ones.
So you want 2 purple?
I want 2 purple ones.
Okay, would they be like Ahsoka's or would they be the same length?
Same length.
You can have them.
I'm not that coordinated. You gotta remember your left from right, like on the dot. You know, like which short ones in which hand? Because I would be making mistakes.
Well, if you were a Jedi, you'd be trained.
Yeah. If I could have 2 purple ones, or like one purple, one like bright orange, like or I don't know if it's orange or yellow. The guy with the mask. He's a Jedi.
Plo Koon.
Mask. Plo Koon.
Yeah.
His, at least, I don't know in the shows or whatever, but
I think it was in the video games. And stuff
okay,
like
in the
that's where it
video
comes
game,
from.
his was yellow/orange. I could have a purple one and a yellow/orange one.
That would be
I
sweet.
feel pretty fashionable.
Well, there is. Well, in the Force Unleashed video game, you can pick like every color under the sun, and there's like orange and there's yellow.
Mhm.
Which I hope they do like diversify a little bit more. That was like one thing that I didn't like as much. Like, they don't need like all the colors of the rainbow, but like I was like, really, like everybody's just green and blue. I
Yeah.
was like, come on, give it like a little bit more. Like, you don't have to go crazy, but like every once in a while, throw in a yellow or throw in a purple or throw in.
I do
something.
wonder why they did that, because in the original trilogy there weren't as many, right?
Yeah.
Like there weren't Jedi running around everywhere, so I was curious about that too. Like, they really kind of stuck with the blue and then sometimes green and then
there's
really
like
other
there's
colors.
like different backgrounds for each one. Like blue is more like you're like forced combat, and green is more like you're like you study like the force, and you're more like forces. Like I forget off the top of my head, but one's like defense and one's more like aggressive and all that stuff. But moving on from that, if you had to pick a favorite planet, what would you
Tatooine.
Would you want to live on Tatooine? That's the thing. Or would you pick a different planet to live on?
Well, does Naboo is like the nice one.
Oh, Naboo is legit, yeah.
But I really do like desert architecture, and I feel like I could do some really cool things on Tatooine.
For sure, yeah.
I
like Bespin because it's like the Bespin sun. Like it's an Empire, the one where when they go to see Lando.
Yeah.
The city in the clouds.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like that would be really cool. It's like it'd be pretty windy, but it'd be pretty cool.
Yeah. Like if I were. Also, Tatooine has like this like grunginess to it.
Yeah, it's very sci-fi, like Western.
Yeah, it's like sci-fi Western.
Very cool. Yeah.
It's got the huts. It's kind of ghetto. I kind of like it though.
The pod racing though.
In the pod racing, yeah. I mean, if I were like a super like noble person living on Tatooine, I'd feel like a mob boss. I guess that's the huts.
Yeah,
I want to be a
you're
hut.
not wrong.
But wait, I said Jedi? I mean, I want to be a hut.
You can be a hut Jedi.
A hut Jedi. No.
I want to see it. I want a video game, something. I want to see it, like a hut being able to run around.
Flipping like a massive slug.
I don't think that'd be popular. They'd probably be faster. I mean, because like Jedi have like force speed, so you could like slide faster.
Well, see, that is interesting because they don't really show the huts ever getting like force messed with.
Yeah, because
they're species.
They're strong-minded. They're not weak-minded.
Yeah. So why isn't there a hut?
Some species just aren't. There is like I don't know if it's canon. There is a Jedi. There was a Jedi that was a hut.
Oh, okay.
I don't know if it's canon though or not, but yeah, I've seen it on like Wikipedia. There was like one. It's just
and then some with the Wookiees.
Some creatures, just aren't super force sensitive. Like it's very rare for them to be force sensitive. Like in Clone Wars, you see Genji for the Wookiees, but yeah, there's not a whole bunch of force sensitive Wookiees either. And I think it just depends on like what type of creature it is,
Yeah.
So.
Interesting.
Do you have a favorite type of music, like a score?
Duel of the Fates.
Yeah.
They're actual words. You can Google the lyrics.
Have you seen like the spoof one where they're like the people at it shows like the choir singing it, and then it'll be like mashed potatoes, and it shows
I think I have.
Soda can, and then they show like different stuff.
No, I don't know what language it's in. Probably a made up language, but there are lyrics to that song. They are singing actual like syllable words.
Yeah, I never looked it up, so I don't know what they're saying. But.
Yeah. Every time I think or hear the song, I think of when there were all these termites, and.
Yeah, I used to live in this really crunchy place in college, and it ended up having termites in it. So
and they swarmed out of the ceiling. And I
good times.
Ran out with my kitten outside.
Like,
just spraying everything, trying to kill them all.
We're like, Juice, come on!
Yeah.
It's funny.
But yeah, I think it's a really good. I mean, all of Star Wars music I think is really good.
It's iconic, and John Williams is OG.
Yeah. It's definitely like Star Wars is my favorite John Williams group of songs.
They say John Williams or Jurassic Park. Either John Williams or Jurassic Star Wars or Jurassic. I mean Star Wars for sure, but like after probably Jurassic Park. Jurassic Park's great. Do you have a favorite video game?
So the one that I played the most of is Episode 1 on the PlayStation 1.
I don't think I've played that one.
I don't think anyone knows what I'm talking about when I say
know what
that.
you're talking about, but I don't think I've ever played
I
it.
haven't met a single person who has played that game. And I really stunk at it. I was also like...
2.
Yeah, I was very young. Man, I really want to find it though, because it's such a good 2-player game. It's super simple, and I'm sure we could probably beat it in like an hour, because that's how long PlayStation 1 games take to beat.
For sure.
But no, it was super fun. You can pick your characters. Doesn't have to be relevant to the plot. And then he had me start playing Fallen Order, which is like, I didn't even know that existed.
Yeah.
I mean, I saw you playing it a while ago, I guess when it first came out.
Yeah, I played it
But it is so good. It's like, so if
pain in the butt, but it's good.
not to get too far into video games, but like Uncharted, but like Star Wars, but more open world than Uncharted. It's an adventure game. Like, it's a legit game. It's got an excellent story. It's super interesting. I think there's a ton to do outside of just the plot.
Mm-hmm.
Like, there's a lot of exploring you can do, and I love that.
Yeah.
And it's gorgeous.
Yeah, it is. I'm excited for the second one.
Yeah, and so it's a platformer. I don't know.
Well,
I really like
this. I like it that it's like you get to fight a lot of the like Inquisitors and stuff. Because you see that in Rebels, and then you see it even more. I know you're not like super far into it, but you get to see a decent amount of Inquisitors in the game too, which is cool.
Yeah, and I haven't really had a chance, or I've had plenty of chances to. I just haven't really played a lot of Star Wars games, and I really like that one. I think the fighting mechanics are really fun, and you know, it's lightsabers. I don't know.
Yeah.
There's a lot of Star Wars games that's kind of like pod racing. I have played that. I don't care for racing games outside of Mario Kart.
I would say remaster it, but yeah.
Yeah, that would probably help.
Like actually remaster it, not just port it. Because
yeah.
with the Switch, they just ported it.
Yeah. And then there's like the game that everyone plays online.
Battlefront?
Battlefront.
Yeah.
It's first-person shooter. I don't do that, so.
I like the older ones better, personally.
I wouldn't be able to tell you between the difference between any of them. I'm sure it's really fun. I just like really can't do the first-person shooter stuff.
Right. This one might be a hit or miss question, but do you have like a favorite vehicle or ship or anything like that?
Oh, B-Wing, like straight up.
Yeah.
Hero.
That's what's up.
With the, what was it, bright orange, bright red B-Wing?
Yeah,
that thing's
cool.
so cool.
Yeah,
It's just
sweet.
like,
yeah, I agree.
and you know, when she first tested out, I just like fell in love with it. It looks so nice.
Well, I thought it was cool because I didn't know that like the body rotated from the head. Like I was like, oh, it's always like a cool ship. Like I've always really liked it. But as soon as like it was like rotating and spinning, so I was like, okay, this might be my new favorite ship.
And I love that bright color that they use. Like if I had a B-Wing, it'd have to be like neon orange or something.
Yeah, I'd probably make mine black and do like the man, I'm trying to. It's like the LAAT and the Clone Wars, like the first Clone Wars, where it has like the sharp teeth on it. I would do something like that and make it look really cool.
Yeah.
But yeah, that would be mine.
I also like I forget what it's called because I haven't been watching Clone Wars in a while. Rebels, but it's like a hexagon, like the. I don't know if it's the Empire that uses them. Bad guys. It's like where it's like a circle. Pardon me.
I'll put that out.
Thanks. It's like there's an orb, and then it's got the brackets that look like solar panels.
TIE Fighter?
Yeah!
Okay.
It's not that hard, I'm so sorry.
See, I was thinking like land vehicles. And that's
I'm
what
so
I was
sorry.
trying.
No, I know. Because, yeah. No,
No,
TIE
you're
Fighter.
good.
I don't know why I forgot what that was. Now that you say that, I feel really dumb. But,
no, don't. Dude, there's still plenty of stuff where I'm just like, I've seen this how many times and I don't know what it's called.
Yeah.
You know, stuff like that. Like, I'm especially, for me, it's weapons. Like, weapons in Star Wars, I'm like, I'm really.
There's the one that goes pew pew, and
Yeah.
then there's the one that goes woof woof.
Yeah, literally. Do you have a favorite style of like clone trooper armor?
The dirt bikers.
Oh, scout troopers.
Yeah, I love their helmets. They have
How
the
they come
visor.
up. I didn't until Rebels. I didn't realize that that's how they opened up. Like the face opens. Like I didn't realize that. That's how they. I thought it was just like every other one where you just you know take it. But yes.
I find them very aesthetically pleasing. I'll probably make a suit. Like
for sure. Yeah.
I want to make a Wrecker Bad Batch suit.
Galactic Armory just came out with one. See,
I'll probably be buying that with my next paycheck.
I'll do the Hunter because I got the Hunter one, and then you do Wrecker. That'd be cool. I think it'd be so funny because you're tiny.
I know.
Like a tiny Wrecker. I think that would be hilarious.
I'm only 5'1", so and I just think think Wrecker's my favorite of the Bad Batch.
That was great.
Oh my gosh, I love him so much. And
Dude, I might buy that because I want the outfit too, or at least the
But you
helmet.
got the other ones. I can get this one, but like
No, for
I
sure.
want it really bad, and I like the paint job. And it's like I feel like I'm gonna look so kawaii, but like also kind
Yeah,
of
Galactic
mean.
Armory just came out with like a Wrecker, like basically like the size of like this. It's hard to see. I got a Rex over there that I 3D printed, but that I haven't finished. But yeah, they just came out here. He just came out with a Wrecker one that I want to get so bad and painted.
Where's the on button?
The on button? Oh, it's on. So it's like really weird. It's like inside of his. It's kind of hard because we also have lighting in here and stuff like that. But
It makes me feel better.
dude, it's so cool that his hands light up.
I know.
I was like, I shouldn't have bought that one because it's like giving me the bug now. Like I don't want to get anything else. I just want to get like Hot Toys now.
Yeah, they're
Whenever-
gonna look so nice though. Like whenever you get like a nice place and everything.
Yeah. I'm really excited about like being able to like put them on display better because I want to show off like him and Darth Maul like in the same case.
Yeah.
And then I just
Sickness.
pre-ordered Hunter, so I'm really excited for that.
You
one.
got the sickness.
Down with the sickness. So you said the Scout Troopers are your favorite.
Yeah, I think they're really edgy looking.
Yeah, they're really cool. I
Also
agree.
motorcycles.
Speeders.
Speeders. It's the motorcycles of Star Wars.
Do you have a favorite creature?
Tauntaun. They remind me the most of horses. And I was a horse.
Do you know how warm a Tauntaun is?
Warm enough?
Lukewarm.
Ah! No! No!
I also know that you're a big Marvel fan too.
Mhm.
So how would you compare Star Wars and Marvel? I mean, you can do it in any way you want to do it. You can say what you like from one and not the other, or just however you want to do it.
Well, for me, that is a pretty big. I love how both of them have so much detail and such a big universe, right? Star Wars is all through films and shows, which is a little unique, and I love that because, I mean, the only reason I'm reading Plagueis is because it's an audiobook.
Same.
Right. But I'm a very visual person, and Marvel, my fandom with Marvel, I consider myself a major, huge Marvel fan.
I would
But
second that.
it's like all the cinema though. Like I didn't read much of I read a little bit of the original comic books, and I did grow up watching like Spider-Man and a little bit of Iron Man.
Yeah.
But
I mean, it was the same for me. Like I kind of watched the old Spider-Man, like the
Amazing Spider-Man,
yeah, like the old cartoon, but that's about it.
But I love like the severe amount of character development. Star Wars definitely has more characters and more complexity, I think, to the universe because it's not so centralized. It's not like the Avengers, right? Like Marvel's kind of surrounded by the Avengers, the X-Men, these like groups, and you kind of have to stick to that. It's not as long of a timeline either.
Right.
Star Wars is like, it's like basically we're watching like a sci-fi history of, you know,
like a story
the Galactic
being told,
Empire or whatever, you know, like.
Yeah. What's more like mythological?
Mythological.
Well, it's like where it's like Star Wars is more mythological and like Marvel. Like it still kind of can be. Definitely, you got the hero's journey in it, but it's not as much. Star Wars feels like it's like you said, like it's an ancient. It was told in a galaxy far, far away.
Yeah.
Like it was a long time ago.
I think Star Wars has a stronger universe kind of quality to it because now that Marvel just.
I like
I
how
think
Marvel
they
connects
could.
everything.
Yeah.
Like
yeah.
I think Marvel definitely connects things way better than Star Wars does.
And I would also say Marvel is much more linear of a story. It's very like start, end.
Yeah.
And then there's kind of a side story going on, but like Star Wars has so much of its individual cultures and everything like that. It's just, which it's two different things. I'm still more of a Marvel fan, just simply out of like my interest so far in life, I guess. I don't know. But, you know, Marvel, you know, there's one Iron Man, but there's many Jedi. So I think Star Wars can be much more relatable out of its diversity. But I find, did I say Star Wars?
For what?
Star Wars is more relatable.
I think you said Marvels. Or no, you did. Yeah, sorry. I'm sure. I
I'm
like
sure-
blipped.
no,
you like
I-
Jedi
I-
mind tricking. I was like,
I also
No, you
blipped.
did say Star Wars.
I personally find Marvel more relatable because of the kind of relationship I made with those characters.
For sure. Yeah.
Over time. It's more focused. But then there's also Star Wars can be seen as more relatable because there's so many more characters for you to very specifically relate to.
Right.
And I mean, they're different. Also, I would say Marvel is more sci-fi and Star Wars has more fantasy in it than Marvel. Because there's like the Force and stuff.
Right.
While Marvel is like, they have like Norse god, like the gods, but they're not, they basically just prove that they're gods, it's just another species.
Glance over it, yeah.
And they're more scientifically charged.
They bring more like, I feel like Star Wars is more like mythical,
Mm-hmm.
and then like Marvel's more like realistic.
Mm-hmm.
Like it's like, I mean, yes, it is superheroes, like,
Right.
which isn't really, but like I'm saying, it brings more realism to that.
Yeah, and it's much more political. Not, well, that's...
Well, I don't know.
eh.
Yeah.
Never mind. I take that back.
Like 90% of Star Wars is politics, but yeah.
It's more earthly, politically going, the words. But, like, well, it's, like, we don't have an empire right now, right? And, you know...
Like, I suppose the thing would be Thanos, but they beat him, so...
Spoilers.
Well, I mean, if you haven't seen the movie now,
yeah, true.
You know. But, do you have anything else you wanted to add to that for the Marvel Star Wars, or?
I think that's it.
Okay. So, what future projects for Star Wars are you excited about?
Obi-Wan.
For sure.
Because I want to get to know him better.
Yeah.
Because he's babe.
Anything else, or just like specifically Obi-Wan?
Honestly, I'm still really hyped up on Bad Batch. I think it's like the last 2 or 3 episodes have been super solid in my opinion.
I think it was because it's getting more action heavy. Like there was like some filler, which like I still like really liked, but it was a lot of like, okay, when is it gonna be like they kind of like stalling? It seems like, you know. And
I'm like kind of apprehensive about Bad Batch because I know they're not gonna make it like the 6th season thing, but I really want them to.
Well, I mean, like that's the thing is like, yes and no, because like. People are like, oh, well, like, they're definitely gonna die because they're not in anything else. You realize how big of a universe, like, and I'm not playing this deep, but, like, you realize, like, how big of a universe Star Wars is? Like, they could be on the other side of the... They already told Rex, like, hey, this isn't really our fight. You know, like, this isn't our thing. Like, our priorities have shifted. Like, yeah, I'm on the boat of, like, yes, I do think they're gonna get wiped out, but, like, it's a strong possibility that they could go... kind of like Cutler Quaid did in like episode 2, where they're just like farmers out in the middle of like nowhere or something like that, and that's how their story could end.
Well, I guess like at first I didn't really care about Omega, but now I'm like really invested in her character, and I really want to see her. Like I want to see them follow her until she dies, essentially, like they have for so many other characters. And this is like the one new character where I'm like, oh, I actually want to know what happens to you. Mm-hmm. Well, other than not Rey. Who's the stormtrooper who was introduced?
Finn.
Finn, but they.
Yeah. That says it already. You don't need to say anymore.
I find him very interesting. If they could just like.
Oh, he could
multiverse him into his own show. That would be cool.
He would have been one of the coolest characters out of the sequel trilogy.
Oh, 100%. I love Finn so much.
A stormtrooper turned Jedi. I mean, like, how cool is that? But yeah.
I'm talking about Omega right now. Omega. I want to see what she turns into, if she turns into anything. But
I wanted to kind of segue into that because I heard somebody talking about it like on one of the podcasts that I listened to, and they were like, "What if?" So, and spoilers. So skip ahead like. I don't know, like a minute or 2, if you haven't seen like the newest episode of The Bad Batch. In the newest episode, you know how they talk about like Alpha, which is Boba, and then Omega, which is
is fine.
First and last. What if she was like one of the big adversaries like against Boba Fett in the Book of Boba? Like Alpha and Omega fighting each other.
That would be pretty cool.
I don't know, well, because she already has ties to Finnick. Because Finnick's in it, and then I really think that'd be cool if, like, what if she ends up turning into, like, a mercenary, or, like, say the rest of the, say she's the only one that escapes out of the Bad Batch, and say she turns to, like, basically become, like, Finnick or something like that, where she's, like, a mercenary bounty hunter, and, like, what if she was, like, one of the big proponents of like how cool
Yeah.
would that be? Like
And
Alpha and Omega fighting off against each other.
I'm still like 50-50 on like, oh, she's force sensitive. The last few episodes, I don't think she's really shown that as much.
I'm just confused.
So I think they're just pulling away from that.
I mean, she must just be like really freaking perceptive. Cause like, so the thing is like she's a first gen, like Boba is.
Mm-hmm.
So that means she's literally Jango Fett.
Yeah.
Just a girl version of Jango Fett.
Yeah.
You know, just like Boba is literally Jango. Like there's no alterations in them. There's no like they have the same cause clone troopers. They were programmed to be less aggressive and like more susceptible to like taking orders. And and like her and Boba had none of that.
Right.
You know, so I'm interested to see really how they take this, because like, how did she know that Sid was Sid? How did she? I mean, I guess it's just because like Jango Fett's awesome. How did she make that shot with in the very first episode? Like she's like, oh, I've never fired a gun before.
Beginner's luck. They said, I don't know.
I mean, I'm just like, there's a lot of things that I'm just like, maybe she just got lucky, you know. But like,
no.
I don't know. Well, I mean, we'll see. I mean, I think either way, like whether she's force sensitive or not, I think she's a cool character, you know.
Yeah.
So I think.
As far as Sid goes, I mean, it's kind of. I don't want to say it's obvious. It's obvious because we're third person.
We're watching it, but like, if we were in that situation, we'd probably be like,
who else would Sid even be? Also, wait, didn't they say, not to go into Bad Batch talk, but like, didn't they say that they heard about Sid through
the Jedi?
Rex?
No, the Jedi.
Ah.
The Jedi. Echo goes, the Jedi had an informant that they would go to sometime named Sid, but they didn't know what Sid looked like. They just knew that she was an informant for the Jedi, and that's why they go to her.
Okay.
So. But yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. I think she was probably just like, noticed she was being suspicious and was just like, you're Sid, aren't you?
Don't be suspicious.
she was probably like, who else could Sid even be? Because like, that Sid was obviously like the manager of the bar or whatever.
Right.
Anyway, I don't know. I want to see her develop, like how, you know, Ahsoka in the Clone Wars got older, and I want to see that with Omega.
Yeah, I think we will. I
don't
think
it's with same with Ezra.
Well, Ezra, we're going to see Ezra and Ahsoka.
I'll believe it when I see it.
I mean, they've already cast.
I'll believe it when I see it. But I am curious about the Ahsoka show as well. Like, looking forward to that show because I would like to see more of Ezra.
Mm-hmm.
He was probably one of my least favorite characters in Rebels, but he got interesting at the end, and I think
because he started maturing. At the end,
exactly. He grew up, and now I want to see like where Ahsoka goes with him. Yeah. I hope his hair is not buzzed again.
Yeah, well, hopefully, even if it is, it's like better.
It's a haircut versus like
a blob on his head.
Andy from the Toy Story, just like plastic.
Yeah. What would you, since we already talked about future, or on the topic of like future projects, do you have anything that you would personally like to see? Like, so say like you were in charge of like creating like the next TV show or movie. Like, what would you personally like to see done?
I want to see some, like, there's no way that the Empire got every Jedi. Like, what about someone who is force sensitive, like, ready to be a Jedi, of an undiscovered race or something, or undiscovered planet?
No, you mean like just force sensitive
people?
Yeah,
just like some person, like some kid that's like totally has these powers and no one else in their village, city, or whatever has that.
Yeah.
And they're like, just completely disconnected from it, and just seeing that timeline and seeing maybe the Empire finds them.
Well, I think that would be cool because that was one of the tasks of the Inquisitors, where they were to hunt down Jedi and find force-sensitive like
people,
beings, essentially.
Yeah.
So I think that would be really cool. There is a rumor going around right now that there may be like an Inquisitor TV show coming out, which I hope is a thing because the Inquisitors are really cool. So.
There's a lot of things I would like to see. So, a force-sensitive stormtrooper, or even better, a force-sensitive clone trooper. I think that would be wicked.
I just don't know how they would do that. I mean, I guess they would do it with Omega. That's what they would.
Well, it'd have to probably be Omega, but or just like this complete. It wouldn't make sense to like go back in time and just like have some random clone because like how would that not affect like the timeline of everything?
Also, to like, at least as of right now, like, I guess they did it with Palpatine cloning a Force-sensitive being, but like, as far as like right now goes, like, it's not possible to create a Force-sensitive clone. Like, you can't do it as of right now. Like, I mean, they can totally change
like
that.
As of right now, and you know, I think Palpatine was in some weird science stuff they talk about in the book.
They glance.
They glance. I mean, they talk about it multiple times about like the.
Oh, I just thought you meant in the movie. It's like he's back.
No,
they don't
like
know his mystical dark powers.
I meant more like the midichlorian studies that he and Plagueis were going through, and they've brought it up in other shows as well, just like midichlorian count. Mandalorian, for example, they're trying to harvest.
Grogu,
his,
so they can,
They're trying to harvest Grogu's midichlorians and probably try to create something that they're not supposed to.
Yeah.
So I'm also excited for Mandalorian next season.
Yeah, we won't get that for so long.
It's okay.
Like
they're giving us a lot in between then.
Oh, for sure. Book of Boba's coming out in December, and people are speculating that Mando's not going to come out until not this December.
Like 2024 or something. 2023.
It's
2022.
2022. Yeah.
Oh, that's not that long.
Because we're gonna get Book of Boba in December, and then I think Obi-Wan is next.
When's the Ahsoka show happening?
Sometime in between then, I think.
Oh, okay. Yeah, there's like a ton.
I mean, they're gonna do like what Marvel's doing, how like it was like WandaVision, then it was Falcon and Winter Soldier, now it's Loki. It's gonna be like back to back to back. Like they're building all this stuff up, so it's like they're trying to keep everybody on the Disney Plus, you know. So it's just gonna be like non-stop, like Star Wars, which I'm not complaining.
I'm not complaining either.
I think that's really all the questions I have for you, unless you wanted to add any of your own little razzle dazzle or surprises. I don't know if you have any other things you'd like to talk about.
Not at the moment.
No?
Yeah, I think that's about all of the background I can give from myself in Star Wars.
Did great. So if you made it this far in this video, thank you so much. If you wouldn't mind hitting that subscribe button, it helps the channel out so much, and also the like button, because then it gets my video out to more people. Also, let me know in the comments how well Lydia did, because she did really great, you know.
Thanks.
And I'll catch you guys in the next video. And as always, may the Force be with you.